Hey, what is up YouTube? Kyo here, coming at you with a brand new YouTube video. And in this game, we're going to be checking out a game between myself and in the bottom left machine, formerly from Evil Geniuses. Now, if you guys have been checking out some of the content I've been releasing recently, we've been checking out some awesome games between myself and some pretty well-known players in Legacy of the Void. Recently released some replays between myself and Demaga, showing some fun Protoss versus Zerg action. And the thing I really like about the games that we've been doing recently is that the games have allowed us to look at different aspects of Legacy of the Void, which during the first few weeks here, we haven't really had the option of checking out. Generally, people have just been rushing for Ravagers, killing you in like the first 5 minutes, or killing you with Cyclones. And it's really nice to be playing against players who are mechanically skilled, have a good idea of what they're doing, and they don't really worry about just winning, especially considering that we are playing unranked. Winning, don't need those ladder points, right? Not on a mission to kill all those nerds, steal their ladder points, but instead it allows us to check out some really cool interactions between the units that we do have from Protoss and some of the things that Zerg has in their arsenal besides things like Ravagers or Terran besides Cyclones. So it's a nice little dynamic that we have kind of establishing itself in the progression of Legacy of the Void. Into this game, we see that we have Machine taking a fast 3 hatches. Pretty common to be getting fast gas here. You can afford it as Zerg with all your extra larvae now. Something I was talking about in my game versus the Demaga is the differences between how much larvae you have in the early game and the kind of exponential growth it allows Zerg to have in the early game. We see here that I'm going for 2 gateways, making some adepts. And this is something that I've kind of had a little bit of fun playing around with recently, is just making these mass adept hit squads running into people's bases. If you guys have checked out the game I played versus Desro, we did some Wings of Liberty adept action more or less, and it makes for some pretty exciting games, I think. You get to see some fun multitasking, and at the same time get to see how people defend against certain attacks. Also shows that Protoss can have some pretty nice early game harassment, kind of like Reapers, without it being super all-in. We do see that behind us we are taking a Nexus, taking that Zergling off that probe, defending our brethren. So, as I've said many times on stream, if you guys have been checking me out, it's kind of interesting how adepts work right now. They are slower than non-speed Zerglings, but since the health patch, they actually have become quite strong. They don't do very well versus a few queens, but if it's just one queen by themselves, they actually do quite well. You see here I'm picking off some larvae, using that shade ability to get out of there. Now this is a early game between Machine and myself. I think he was only about, I don't know, level 6, which shows that maybe he hasn't been playing too much Legacy of the Void yet. But nonetheless, as we all know, Machine is a pretty well-known player. Some great Zerg mechanics. And here we see that we've been kind of playing around with these shades, canceling the shade ability there. You don't actually have to teleport to it now in the latest patch. We also see that we have a Warp Prism and an Immortal back here. Also getting a Forge, working on our probe production. Sending these guys into the base and teleporting right back out. See in the Harvesters tab, 34 to 32. So doing pretty nice to stay pretty even on the worker count, which is very important considering Machine currently has another base up on us. And what we're doing here is running in with our adepts and teleporting out. Allows us to make sure our adepts don't get surrounded and die. Roaches, on the other hand, a lot better versus adepts than zerglings. And actually, roaches, just a few of these shut down adepts quite hard. Building a wall over here in case we have any ravagers push up into here. Warping in some more sentries. And now we're getting into the fun stuff. Oh yeah. Checking out warp prisms and immortals. As you guys know, the new warp prism allows you to pick up units from range, I believe, 7. And the new immortal ability, harden, or the barrier, allows you to warp in or build a little shield on your immortals, which takes 200 damage for, I believe, 3 seconds or 2 seconds. Coming in down here. 2-prong attack. Targeting down that hatchery now. A machine only has 6 roaches right now, and roach is probably not the best thing to fend off immortals. And we're actually going to be able to get this hatchery here. And roach is not so good against immortals. At least that part still stays true. And 2 health on this warp prism. And we're living, boys. Get out of there. Taking our gas back at home. And gonna start working on getting another base here soon, I'm sure. Adding on some stalkers, making sure we're not gonna die to any kind of push. Machine, working on getting hydralisks. Of course, now the hydralisk movement speed and range upgrade has been combined into one. Also see that we are getting a Twilight Council and a Robotics Bay to allow us to either go into Colossus or Disruptors, or even some Adepts if we choose to. Coming back in here with our Immortals, picking off drones if we can. 6 and 6 kills on both of these. And that range on that warp prism really makes it difficult for Zerg to kind of stop this harassment, especially with these ridges around this base. Third base positions very easily drop from the natural, or the main base, I mean. And you can see our warp prism just flies right back out. Establishing our third base up here. Going into some disruptors, as well as, you guys see over here, this is the shield upgrade, which adds 50 shields to the adept. That allows them to be even more meaty than they already are. They have currently 90 health and 90 shields as well, so I think that brings it up to 140 or something. I believe it's something like that. And this is something you really don't see too often, but Immortals actually do really well versus Queens and Drones even. Really effective at just picking off whatever comes in their way. Adding up some more gateways. We can see here, this actually is supposed to be 100 seconds. The time has not correctly been changed in replays yet. So there's 90-90 on those adepts. You can see with the +1 upgrade that they have 11 damage and 25 versus light. So they get +1 per upgrade on general damage and +2 per upgrade on versus light. $11 and 9 kills now. We also see that we're moving out with our army here. We have 2 disruptors, quite a few sentries, and quite a few adepts as well. Just pulling Machine's army down here. He's starting to add Ravagers into his unit composition, getting +2. Might have been a good idea for him to start expanding out here. Problem with this base is it's a little bit more spaced out when you start getting to your 4th base location. And we can see here we have quite a large number of hallucinated stalkers. And we see that one disruptor taking out quite a lot of units. We see the second disruptor coming over here, killing even more. These upgraded adepts just wrecking these hydras, man. They don't care. 27 damage versus hydras, and you have to keep in mind hydras only have 80 health. So with disruptors and adepts, you can actually see that it does quite a good job of fighting off hydra armies. Now keep in mind that generally, if things go well and you progress throughout the mid game, maybe if Machine doesn't lose this third base, just having Hydralisks is probably not the most optimal army. Either having Roaches, Ravagers, or whatever else in there beefs up your army quite a bit, but definitely can see that you don't want to fight Adepts with just Hydralisks, especially when you have Disruptors in there as well. Definitely not the optimal way to be fighting a unit that does great damage versus light. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this game. I'll be casting over some more replays, bringing you guys content as much as I can in the coming days. I've been doing pretty well, I think, on keeping up daily content here, and I'm going to try and keep at that for you guys. Make sure you see awesome progressions in the Legacy of the Void development. And awesomely enough, these two immortals actually never died. So, hope you guys enjoyed the replay, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Peace.